Hey guys, welcome to my week 3 of my Octoberfest HorrorFest. I am back for another 7 more movies, and this time I chose Psychotic Killers. So I'm going to be talking about all 7 of these movies, but if at any point you just want to know what my thoughts are about one in particular, go ahead and click on any of these other 7 titles that you see floating around my face, and it will take you directly to that title. Day 12, I watched The Final. Pretty much about these kids that have been bullied non-stop by the cool kids, and they have had enough and they are planning their revenge to murder them. At times it did seem, though, with their acting that it was shot with a bunch of college kids and quickly edited together, but overall it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. The message was pretty much loud and clear. Don't bully kids, and don't bully them until the point because they're going to pop and retaliate. Beginning towards the middle of the movie was a bit slow because you were trying to get to know each of these kids that were being bullied and watch them being bullied, and then all of them get together and plot their revenge. Towards the rest of the half, it's pretty awesome because you get to see them torment the cool people, but at times I feel like their tormenting was a little bit hesitant and slow. With some issues that I had with it, with their whole putting on the mask, and the cool kids didn't know who they are, but you clearly knew who they were the whole time, and there was this dramatic sound effects that they made every time they tried to reveal one by one who they actually were underneath. But we already knew who they were because the entire time from the beginning to the middle of the movie, these kids were talking about their revenge and how they were going to take the revenge on the people, what they were going to do. They pretty much say, we are the killers, this is what we're going to do, where it's going to happen, and that's pretty much it. Necessarily dramatic music going on in the background each time, like you're supposed to go, oh my gosh, I can't believe it was them. It was pretty unnecessary. Overall, I pretty much gave the movie a 3. It's kind of in the middle. You can either love it or you can really hate it. Day 13 was called Missing. It's a Korean-based thriller, so pretty much you have the subtitles on the bottom the whole time. A newborn actress and her talent manager go to this town of a population of like 5 people. They stop to get a bit of food and relaxation, and they didn't realize that they stopped at a psychotic killer's house. The guy captures the girl, torments her, does a lot of really disgusting things to her, and ends up killing her. Meanwhile, her sister is trying to contact her and goes out on a quest to go look for her. Eventually figures out who the killer is, a whole ton of things happen, and in the end, the girl eventually kills the guy. That's pretty much the movie. Crazy old man kidnaps females, does a lot of weird and nasty, torturous things to them, goes psychotic even more. It's kind of like Psycho. I found this movie to be pretty cool. I really loved a lot of the murder scenes in this. There was a lot of gore and a lot of creative ways the guy had to kill people, so I overall really appreciated it. It has subtitles at the bottom, so you had to really pay attention. It wasn't kind of like a movie that I can just watch and work at the same time. I definitely recommend to a lot of people if you are okay with reading the subtitles at the bottom. And it's a very straightforward movie. I think you really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. And so for that, I actually gave the movie a 4 because I was pretty interested in what the storyline was about. Day 14 was The Collector, and I was so excited to actually see this movie because I had happened to watch The Collection first, didn't realize that was actually a sequel to this movie. If you are a die-hard fan of Saw, I think you would really appreciate The Collector as well as The Collection. This guy is brilliant when it comes to his traps. He sets things up exactly like, it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle. He sets up traps, so if you move at a certain position or if you open up a certain door, there's puzzle pieces happening all around you and things flying at you, and if you open something the wrong way, then it's gonna trigger something else. This movie is just full of massacre and killing and torture scenes, and I absolutely love this movie. I cannot get enough of this. I kind of wish that they would actually make more, kind of like the Saw series. I would appreciate more of the Collector series. After watching this movie, everything that I watched in The Collection made complete sense, because if you watch The Collection before The Collector, you're kind of confused at the beginning of the movie. You're like, who is this guy? Why was he... You have to watch them in order. It's definitely just like the Saw movies. You just have to watch them in order to understand the entire process. With this movie being that awesome, I ended up giving it a 5 because I can go ahead and rewatch this over and over again and I cannot get sick of it. Day 15, I watched Vile. This movie's almost got the feeling for Saw, but instead of someone torturing them, they're actually torturing themselves. That makes this movie a whole lot more interesting. A bunch of strangers were kidnapped and locked inside a home. They woke up to find a bunch of devices clinged to the back of their neck. Shortly after, we pan to a monitor that pretty much tells them they need to torture themselves, endure a ton of pain in order to collect a bunch of fluid that's connected in the back of their neck. These vials that are their fear fluids are then collected to create into some sort of perfume to be sold to the world. It's pretty sick and disturbing if you think about it. So everyone pretty much has to work together and torture each other, torture themselves with enough pain to fill up these vials to 100% so that they are able to be set free afterwards. So we're just watching a bunch of people just massacring each other, torturing the hell out of each other. But I won't give away the ending because there's a little twist plot at the end that'll make you go, ah, it wasn't half bad. I actually quite enjoyed it. I would definitely probably watch this movie again. The acting was definitely entertaining and I was cringing the entire time because just the fact of even a little scrape on my finger makes me Overall, I highly enjoyed this movie and I definitely recommend to a lot of you, and for that I gave this movie a 4. Day 16, I watched Satan's Little Helper. Now this movie was recommended on one of the top 10 movies to see of all time, and I don't understand why this movie was on that list. This is one of those movies you really hope they would make a remake about because it was crap. I don't understand why this was in the top whatever movie to be seen of all time. It definitely wasn't any of that. Storyline was awesome. It could have worked. It really could have if it wasn't for the fact that the acting was terrible. I wanted to kill the little child in that movie the entire time. No child is that fucking stupid. Kids are pretty stupid growing up at that age, but this kid was beyond dumb. Everything that he said and he did and reacted to, it was like, what? There was so many issues wrong with this movie. Main characters fell for the same stupid trick about 5 times, and each time you're like, what is going on in your head? As for a movie being made that far back ago, I get it. It's one of those like cheesy B-horror. It's not even in the cheesy B-horror. They actually legitimately say that this is a great thriller slasher movie and you have to watch it. Let's just hope along in the future somebody just picks us up and says, hey, I think I can make something better out of this, and just does it, because I don't think I can watch this movie again. I ended up giving this movie a 2. I almost gave up halfway towards the end because it was like, is this movie over it? I couldn't stand it anymore. Sorry. Day 17, American Mary. Now I kind of cheated with this because I've seen this movie already and I had to watch it again because I love this movie so much. This movie has pretty much made its way to almost my top 5 of all favorite horror movies. I'm obsessed with it that much. This movie was made by the Twisted Twins, who I absolutely adore the both of them, and Catherine Isabel is our main lead actress. And for those who watch Hannibal, she's in it as well. I watched this movie definitely way before they brought her onto Hannibal, and I was really stoked to see her in Hannibal. I absolutely love her acting. I loved her acting in American Mary. I love her acting in Hannibal. She's one of those actresses that need to get the light shown more on her because she's just that brilliant and that amazing when it comes to the characters that she portrays. This movie, like, it's one of those that I don't really want to give away because I want you to get that reaction and those feelings when you watch it for the first time. But I could tell you like a little bit of what the movie is about. Our lead character is pretty much a med student trying to pay off her med debt bills. She found herself a position where she can go ahead and grossly body modify people, just like, oh, you have to watch it, just like the things that she does and she molds together. It's just one of those movies. It just makes me happy. This movie is definitely on my rated top 5, so I definitely recommend this movie. If you have not seen American Mary, stop what you're doing right now and watch it because it's worth it. Day 18, I watched Hunger. Hunger is pretty much like a combination of Saw and Vile. You got a ton of strangers who were kidnapped and put inside this cave and left to starve and die down there and to try and survive. It's like a Hunger Games where they're just down there trying to see if they can escape and try and survive. And the guy pretty much gives them an option of what are you willing to do to survive after weeks without food? It's a pretty twisted, screwed up thing. A lot of things happen and you're trying to figure out, okay, what would happen if that was me? That was pretty much how I put myself into this movie as I was watching. If that was me, what would I do? Definitely recommend this movie. I don't recognize any of the actors and acting, so it's one of those low-class movies that hasn't been noticed too much yet. Definitely see this movie being remade into something even more amazing. It's amazing as it is already, but I can just definitely see this movie being remade and done in an entirely different way and just being awesome. Overall, gave this movie a 4 because I highly enjoyed it, and it's definitely one of those that you would probably enjoy it as well. Yeah, those are my 7 movies for this week 3, and I will be seeing you guys onto the week 4. Well, we have like 2 weeks left. I can't believe October is almost over. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!